Hello. Okay, welcome to day one of our vision board group. This is something I absolutely have the biggest passion for. And as I said, it's not just because I enjoy teaching this stuff as much as it is I enjoy seeing people execute it. I can't tell you how many people from last year's group have written me personally to say, like, because of the stuff that I learned and then executed from your vision board group, like my 2017 was mind-blowing. I hit so many of my goals. And that to me is the sole purpose of me doing this right now, because seeing people live out their calling, to see them rise up to who I know that they're meant to be, is bar none my life's purpose. And so you guys are actually doing me a favor in letting me be a part of your journey and letting me be able to live a small piece of my purpose through you as you execute this, because I am someone who has seen these exact things I'm going to teach you change every aspect of my life. And I'm not just talking, tangible like business success. I'm talking like almost 10 years into my relationship with my husband, and just like in the best place ever, and being able to be with my family and be able to go on trips and things together, but also just being able to be in the moment with them and learning to become the kind of mom that I wished I would have had, to be able to live my dreams, with them, to be able to feel close to God and to my purpose and to my calling. It's not just a financial success. And so the reason why I share all that is because today, my base, the place that I feel is most important to start, is about priorities. And I speak to you guys from personal experience. I'll be totally raw and real with you. There's been times in years past that I didn't have my priorities straight. And therefore, even though I was checking off so many things on my vision board, there was something missing. And it was really that I wasn't honoring first things first. I was so focused on a business goal that I sacrificed family or faith in the long run. And so I don't want that for any of you guys. I've been able to, once I realized that that's exactly what I was doing, I refocused my vision board each year on first things first, on the things that were most important first. And then my business goals get bounced against those things to see, is this something that's going to work with where I'm at in my life or not? And so what we're going to do today is talk about what are your top priorities. And when you think of really like three of them, what are the three things that push comes to shove, like these things are the things that you never want to be caught dead sacrificing. You never want to look back and say, I didn't honor these three things. For me personally, those things have been, number one, my faith, because I would not be here had it not been for my faith. I was definitely not this person that you see today 8 years ago. So that has to be number one for me. Number two is my family, because at the end of the day, if I get stripped of everything, that's really the one thing I'd want to be left with is those people. They are the most important thing for me. And then my third one is world contribution. I feel called to bigger things. Like, I love my family. I honor all stay-at-home moms. Like, it's an amazing thing to be able to stay at home with my children. But for me personally, with my calling that God's placed in my life, I need to feel like I'm making a difference outside of myself and outside of my family. And so those three are my top three. However, I found myself living the complete opposite a couple years back. My number one was my contribution to the world, my work. And I'm blessed in the fact that my work, my job, the way that I earn income, happens to be very aligned with what I feel is my purpose, my calling. And so because of that, it became like this beast that could eat up all of my time, because I feel so alive doing it. And you're constantly progressing. As I was working towards big goals, and that I was constantly progressing and seeing more and more and more. And there's dopamine running through my system of like chemicals that are released to give you highs that you feel. And I just felt like on top of the world with that. And so it was easy for me to focus over there, because it comes really naturally to me, because my career is so aligned with my purpose in life. And then I found number two was my family, which is where it's, should be. And then number three was my faith. I was like, well, okay, so this is a really busy week, so I'll watch church on TV, and would never do it. And then I was like, oh, I'll read that book that I was going to meaning to read, but instead of reading that book that's like this faith-based book, I'm reading this business leadership book because that's where I'm seeing the instant gratification, the dopamine, and all the results coming through. And so I had to get to a place, because I was achieving these huge goals, like I said, and not actually feeling the highs anymore. I was kind of feeling pretty crappy. And so I had to come to a place where I switched it and became more intentional. And so what I want you to ask yourself as you write those 3 down is the way that you're living currently, the way that you're doing life on a day-to-day basis. Not the way that you do it on your best day, like the day that you do wake up and you are spending quality time with your family and you're so present, but not the ideal day, but like the day to day. And maybe you could take this week to really start to notice how you're living, but are you living according to those priorities? Are you living honoring first things first, second things second, third things third? Hi, girls. So I hope that as you write those things out, if you're not, which there's a good chance you might not be, that you kind of think of some ways that maybe as we go through this, as you're setting up your goals, you're going to start to bounce those goals against those priorities. For me personally, I am a mom of 2, about to be 3 in June. I'm pregnant now. I'm going to have a 9-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a newborn. So even though I have huge aspirations business-wise, and I might want to, travel, I wanted to sign up. This is a good example. I wanted to sign up for this mentorship program with this man who's like my idol right now. And he has this really cool mentorship program. There's like all kinds of ways that you can travel with him and stuff. And I was like, oh, frothing at the mouth, because that sounds so amazing. But I'm not really in a good place in my life with a newborn and a 1-year-old to then go and travel a bunch of places in this next year. Probably not the best idea. Even though it sounds amazing, oh my gosh, it would be incredible for my career, probably wouldn't be best for my family because that comes ahead of my world contribution, and therefore I have to put that one on the back burner. And that doesn't mean it's never going to happen. It's on my 2019 goals, but it means that this year it's not right for me. So as we start to go through this process over the next 5 days of setting some goals for yourself, what I want you to do is I want you to take each goal and ask yourself, does it honor and fit with my top 2 priorities, or is it that I'm leaning towards what we call, or Chalene Johnson calls, intrinsic priority, the thing that you gravitate towards most naturally? And for you, it might not be like me. It might not be work. That might actually be the one that you struggle with the most, is actually hitting goals for, maybe you're a coach like myself, hitting goals for your coaching business because your family is just your natural priority. It's the one you gravitate towards most. It's really hard to pull yourself away from that to focus on a business goal. But financially, you need to see a change. Otherwise, you can't honor other goals that you have for your family. So once you have those 3, we're going to be able to work into the next couple days of actually setting those goals, making sure we're running them through, making sure they're going to fit with your life and where you're at right now in this season. And then we'll know, okay, when we hit these goals, when we're pushing and making small sacrifices to be able to have that long-term success, it's going to feel amazing. Because not only did you achieve the goal, but you honored the things that are most important to you at your core. And that, my friends, is how you achieve true happiness. Because when you honor your priorities and you're moving your life forward, it is like it sets your soul on fire. So I'm going to post this, and I actually shared this at an event that I had this weekend. And this might give you some ideas on different areas of life that could be different priorities for you. I'll read them now, and then I'll post them in the group afterwards. Funny story, I actually was ready to go live about an hour ago, and literally my power went out. And so we went outside, and they said it's going to be out till 3 p.m., so I had to pack everything up and come to our beach house that's not being rented right now, thank goodness. Got here, had my whole little desktop set up over here, and realized I have a desktop, but I don't have a mouse or a keyboard. So we improvised again. So I'll be posting this later, but some of the key areas of life that you can consider. And I want you to actually rank these. When you get this form, you'll see there's a different area to rank each of them from a 1 to a 10 based on how you feel about those areas right now. But the first one is physical wellness. This is your health and fitness. This is how are you taking care of this vessel that you've got right here. The next one's mental well-being. Do you feel like you're mentally strong, you're motivated, you have natural energy, you're excited about life, or is it kind of like a struggle right now? Because I've definitely been on that roller coaster and it definitely goes up and down. So rating yourself in that area right now. Environment. that's just your surroundings, where you're spending most of your time. So for me, I work from home. That's my home environment. Is it in disarray and all kinds of stuff everywhere, and when I go in there I feel panicky? Or is it like zen? This place is zen because there's nothing in here but my like nice put together stuff. There's no kids' toys anywhere. It is so zen right here because it was a good place to be. So hobbies and restoration. This is actually the place I ranked lowest this year, and not just because of hobbies. So I kind of feel like my career is my hobby as well. I don't necessarily feel this calling towards a bunch of other stuff, but the restoration part of it, I was like, ooh, restoration, taking time for me, like to take time to actually stop and go on a walk by myself. Not a walk while I'm on a call and talking to, new coaches or doing a mentorship of some sort. No, a walk, just with my own thoughts to decompress and relax. Or for me to go out without kids to Target. That could be restoration time, right? I don't know if any hearts from any moms that agree, but going on a shopping trip by myself and I don't even have to buy anything. Just walking around, enjoying time by myself. I am rarely doing that right now. I'm rarely taking time for me because I get so busy with taking care of everybody else, and I have so many goals that I get put on the back burner. So that's an area for me personally that I need to work on this year and be more intentional about. The next one, your romantic relationship, or if you're not in a relationship, do you feel called to try and be in one? That could be an area you're rating as well. Friends and family. This is like your closest family, your closest friends. This is your core group of people. Are you getting to spend any time with them? Do you have that close relationship, or do you need to work towards that more because it's sort of been put on the back burner because you became a busy parent or whatever the case might be? Finances. For me, back when I started this, that was my biggest area. That was my biggest area of concern because at the end of the day, I had to take care of my family. I had to keep the lights on. I had to have some sort of financial security to know that we're not going to get everything taken away from us. And so that would be, if you're in a similar place, that needs to be your number one for a little while, to get focused on making sure you're creating opportunities to get yourself out of debt, to get yourself out of having that elephant on your chest. There is no worse feeling in the entire world. So that would be another area that you would maybe focus on. Purpose or work, I have those together. Spirituality, your faith, and personal growth. So rating those different areas, and like I said, I will give you this sheet right after I get off this call so you can rate those different areas. But when you find your lowest one, the one that you scored the lowest, that's going to be your key priority for the next 3 months. That's going to be your key priority for the next 90 days. And what I mean by key priority, it's the one that you really need to be a little bit more intentional about, because that's the one that you tend to put on the back burner most. It's the one that's on the struggle bus right now, basically. And then what I want you to do is come up with a bullet list. It doesn't have to be very detailed, but bullet list of some small ways that you could start to honor that priority on a daily basis or even on a weekly basis. So like I said, for me, with it being restoration, I had to think of ideas and ways that on the daily, on the weekly, on the monthly, that I could be taking better care of myself or taking a little bit more me time. And so on a daily, that looked like taking 20 minutes in the morning to sit and stretch by myself. And I woke up a lot earlier this morning before my kids woke up. I didn't want to. I hate waking up early, but I need to take care of myself. And that's the only time that I have that nobody else is up. So I got up extra early. I did a workout. I thought of, and I wrote down things that I was grateful for. I came up with a list of things I had to do today so that I could start the day and not be all frazzled, but actually be like, all right, I got a little bit of me time in. Not the perfect workout, not an hour. It was only 25 minutes, but it was enough to feel like, okay, I got taken care of. On a weekly basis, that might be that Target trip. It might be talking to my husband and being like, hey, on Friday, after I finish up work, do you mind if I go out for like an hour and a half and just go chill for a little bit before we get started for the weekend? On a monthly basis, that might be like, I'm gonna go get a pedicure. Like once a month, I'm gonna invest some time into me, and it doesn't even have to be something you spend money on. It can literally be something where you're just going on a walk if you're next to a beach, or if you have a nice park. I know a lot of you guys are under a freeze right now. I apologize. But maybe it's an indoor thing that you guys can go to. Something to get some time for you. So that's an example of my specific category for finances for some of you guys. It might be cutting out something. You know, it might be that once a day you're going to cut out something that you spend money on. For some of you, it might be coffee. It might be lunches out with girlfriends on a weekly basis. It might be a dinner out with your spouse for the next month or 2 months, because all that money kind of adds up over time. So as you start to go through that list, that'll be your base list, and we'll talk about working that into your daily schedule and how you'll chip away at that to start to feel just insane momentum. It's crazy. It's not the big things that you do. It's really, what I have found at least, is the little small tweaks and changes that you make to your day. And you think it's gonna take like all this extra time, but it really doesn't. It does take that extra 15 minutes of planning. And if you can make a habit out of that, guys, it goes from being like this wishful thinking to like, whoa, you know, I'm starting to feel the momentum. I'm starting to feel the shift from this. So that's all I want to cover for today, because I want you guys to take that time after this to fill out that top part of the sheet and to start to think about your priorities and make sure that you're honest with yourself on whether or not you're honoring those things in the right order right now, and then rating those different areas of your life and seeing which one am I on the struggle bus with, which one do I need the most help with, and I can focus on making that my key priority, the one that I'm adding a few things a day to be able to start to honor that in a better way. I promise you the balance that comes from it is like insane, monumental, awesome. So I hope that you enjoyed day one. I'm excited for the rest of the week. It is going to be awesome. I'm going to be sharing all kinds of things that I've learned throughout, not only just this past 8 years, but specifically this past like year and a half. I have been on this personal development bender where I have been learning all kinds of stuff. And I want to share anything that's working for me, because like I said, you guys are helping me live my purpose. So I hope in some way over the next 5 days, I will help you as you start to pursue yours. So have a great Monday, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.